Welcome to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Week 1 in the books. Jay, what a wild week! A lot of shocking, a lot of shocking endings to some of these games, and not really like the last second field goal type endings. More of the oh my, this team is getting absolutely pummeled, which we will get to right after our sponsor. Jay, who are we sponsored by?
Yeah. Again, if you've missed it this year, we are partnered with BattleBets. BattleBets is a fun new way to test your college football knowledge against your friends. For fans of the sport, you're probably asking, what is BattleBets? BattleBets is fantasy betting exclusively for college football. You can create a league with your friends and place bets on college football each week with fake money. They have spreads, over and unders, money lines, and props. So you track your bets and earn points throughout the season to win your leagues. If you're worried about the season already starting, you can start a league at any time. So you could start a league now. You'd start a league for week 3, week 4. So be it. But download the app on the Apple Store. Sign up 100% free and let BattleBets know we sent you by selecting the Get Back Coach as your referrer in the ambassador section. We'll be hosting our own league with a prize for the Get Back Coach starting. It started this past week. And again, this kind of depends on if we're able to get enough people. There's also a community league who are guaranteed to give out prizes each week. Stay tuned for that. Again, it's 100% free to sign up for Battle Bets. So get that today. We'll have links posted on socials. So excited to have Battle Bets on board. I had fun in week 1.
I'd say what, not only did I have fun, but some of my family, doesn't bet at all. So it was very nice to, have that little bit of a thrill. Battle Bets also offering up $1,000 prize for the community league. So it was nice to kind of see my family get in on the action for people who don't usually bet. Um, that was very nice to see.
Yeah, and it is the most responsible gambling of all time because you
Exactly.
risk nothing.
It's fantasy football without throwing the side cash on the side. It's wonderful, uh almost fantasy football for college.
Yeah,
Fantasy
yeah.
betting. It's
100%
awesome.
free, 100% free.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into the games because, like you said, we did have a ton of things happening, starting with Thursday.
Yeah. And this is one of the shockers right off the bat. South Florida is for real, and they beat down Boise State 34-7 in Tampa. Uh, Byron Brown is incredible. I was really disappointed in Boise State. They looked good to start, but I feel like their offense went stagnant once they crossed the 50, and then they went kind of limp in the second half. Kind of gave up, it looked like.
Yeah, and I wonder if some of it may have to do with the heat and humidity playing in
Mhm.
Tampa. Obviously, a little bit different animal than they're used to up in Boise. But yeah, this was a absolute shocker. I did not have this one on my bingo card at all. I think, talking with Dylan Sprouse, group of 5 guys, we were all in on Boise State being the playoff team from the group of 5 this year.
Mhm.
And that just kind of didn't come to fruition. South Florida immediately jumps to the top of the group of 5 rankings, right? Like they're going to be a contender. I think I'll put this out here now. I am guaranteeing that whoever is the group of 5 berth comes from the American.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out there now.
Mhm.
And I mean, again, Byron Brown, super impressive performance for South Florida. Really excited to see what this team does for the rest of the year. That wasn't our only Thursday night game, though.
No, it was not. Nebraska beat Cincinnati 20-17. Nebraska doesn't cover, but I think this game is kind of what most people expected. I was a little disappointed with Nebraska's offense. I thought they'd be a little bit better. Here's the thing: Sorsby for Cincinnati is going to keep them in games with his legs. That's what Nebraska had the majority of the problem defending, is just Sorsby out in space. Jay, I think Dylan Raiola is. I think he's okay. Is the Patrick Mahomes cosplaying maybe a little bit of a detriment to him a little bit? Is it going too far?
I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Let kids let him have fun.
Yeah,
Let him
just
do what he wants.
let the kids play.
Let the kids
And
play.
like
Okay.
we all had guys we looked up to. I wanted to be like Jared Allen when I was a young defensive lineman coming up
That
through the
checks.
ranks.
That
Part
checks
of
out.
why I got the mullet, right? Uh, so I mean, it doesn't really make too much of a difference if Dylan Raiola wants to do the whole Patrick Mahomes thing. I don't think there's really any problem with it. I tell you what, I am concerned about though. I so like seeing Sorsby obviously use his legs. He's a tough
Mhm.
guy. I worry about the sustainability of that for Cincinnati long term because like if Sorsby goes down at any point, Cincinnati's in real trouble.
Huge, huge trouble. Mhm. Yeah. Um, again, I liked Cincinnati's defense a little bit. I thought they played really nice bend don't break, but I'm not sure if that's Cincinnati's defense, coming up big in moments, or if Nebraska still hasn't figured it out on offense.
Nebraska, I think, has improved, but it still feels like there's just never a rhythm established by that unit.
Yeah,
And again, that's something that's going to be kind of more on display as they play tougher and tougher teams. With that being said, like I came away from this game more impressed with Cincy than I did, down on Nebraska. I think
yeah,
Nebraska is about what we expect,
yeah.
and I do think their offense will improve as the season goes on.
Oh, they definitely will. And listen, it was kind of nice seeing Dana on that sideline, right? Was I the only one who like, oh, there he is?
There was definitely a piece of my mind. It's like, he's probably thinking he wishes he was at a casino right now.
Oh my god, absolutely pounding down a bunch of Budweisers. He needs the visor back. He's got to let the middle hair grow, like the Ernie McCracken from Kingpin
There you
going
go.
on. He's got to bring it back. Has to bring it back. But yeah, I kind of agree. I was more intrigued by Cincy than Nebraska. And listen, Nebraska has a pretty favorable schedule. They upset one team, and they're looking at a potential playoff berth. Um, but then we moved to Friday. I should have saw this one coming. I should have. I was so high on Baylor, and I'm just disappointed in Baylor's defense. Like I'm very disappointed in their defense, Jay.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I talked a little bit about this with my Aggie Warpod co-host Mike Craven, and his takeaway from this was Dave Aranda doesn't trust his defense enough to pull them out of that a too high shell.
Mhm.
Even though Jackson Arnold was just eating that defense apart with his legs, right? Like Auburn was just able to move the ball with that. I don't think that'll be something that Auburn's able to do for the rest of the season. And then they just out physical Baylor at the point of attack. Like they were just bigger, stronger, faster. And I think it showed on Friday in Waco. Really tough, disappointing performance for Baylor, a team that I think a lot of people were high on going into this year.
Mhm.
But it just, it was just kind of a scenario where the Bears just weren't able to physically compete with Auburn.
Mhm.
And it just kind of felt like Auburn was pulling away. Baylor, to their credit, hung tough, right? They didn't lay down in this game, but they just didn't have the physicality to compete with Auburn.
No, listen, Jackson Arnold led his team in rushing with 137 yards rushing, and 100, and he only passed for 108 yards. He only passed for 108. That is all on the ground. I think they ran for like almost 300 yards, like as a team. And the other thing, Jay, Robertson for Baylor, 27 to 48. Uh, he passed for over 400 yards. Looks great, but uh, there was a moment. I want to say, Jay, maybe in that middle. You know how they talk about the middle eight.
Yep.
Okay, there was a moment I think in that middle eight where he was starting to struggle a little bit. And I don't understand offensive coordinators that don't mix in simple routes. Okay. Like you don't need intermediate stuff. Okay. Quick out, slant, one read, throw. And I don't know. I feel like they didn't help out Sawyer Robertson out. It's the thing is, it's Spavital, right?
Yeah, it
Like
is bad.
I thought he would be able to like see, okay, he's struggling. We got to get him back on course, and I think that's kind of where Baylor lost it.
Yeah, I agree. They just weren't able to get him the confidence. I tell you, one guy from Baylor that I did come away impressed with though is Trigg, the tight end for Baylor.
Mhm.
I thought
Mhm.
he looked super impressive. Going to be a guy that I think Baylor's going to build around for the rest of the season moving forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And listen, Sawyer Robinson wasn't terrible. Like he wasn't bad. Is it 27 to 40? Like I said, 27 to 48. He passed for over 400 yards. I just think he needed to be a little bit more consistent. And I don't think his offense coordinator necessarily helped him in that middle. But listen, huge win for Auburn. Hugh Freeze needed that. I don't know how long it's going to last, but Hugh Freeze did need that.
Yeah, big win for Auburn. I think this one kind of helps them get a little bit of confidence going into the season. Again, I don't know that Jackson Arnold's going to be able to find that same success that he had against Baylor for the rest of the season, but it does give SEC defenses something to think about there.
Oh, absolutely. As we move to Saturday, Ohio State beats Texas 14-7. Jay, I just got to say, you are a former defensive lineman. Matt Patricia put on an absolute masterclass, I believe. The front seven of Ohio State, a lot of their stunt combos that they were running with the linebackers, it was absolutely gorgeous, and it made Texas's offensive line head spin. I mean, Jay, you go back and watch some of those. I'm telling you would get very excited watching it.
I did, and I did in the moment, and it was exactly what you needed, knowing that you're facing a new quarterback in Arch Manning, somebody who's making his first start in a real hostile environment on the road. You want to keep him second guessing himself, and I think what we expected there. The processing wasn't as good as you would expect from a guy in that type of environment facing a defense with as much talent as they have. And look, I think we both were like saying to pump the brakes a little bit on Arch Manning as a
Mhm.
quarterback going into the season. A lot of people, Paul Feinbaum in particular, I think is the
I
one
don't even like
that
saying I don't even like saying his name because again, this is the guy who's making a living now because he basically exploited the people from the haulers of Kentucky and Tennessee that called into his radio show. But if I was the Manning family, I would absolutely hate Paul Feinbaum because he is the guy that is pumping up Arch Manning, not necessarily to help him, but now Arch has all of this hate on him, and people are really not even critiquing, but are being overly critical of Arch Manning because people like Paul Feinbaum are just pumping gas into
they want to
this.
be the one that like talks about the next
Once
big thing and like
exactly, yeah,
like I said this from the beginning, and it's just, and like I think you have to draw the line. Obviously, I have some A&M bias here,
mhm,
but with Arch, I think we still don't know yet. Like
he's
we
very
still don't
good.
know what he's going to be. Uh, there were some concerning things from that game, but I think there's things that he can get better at with time. I think like just the sheer speed of the game against a team like Ohio State is something that you have to adjust to. And there were flashes, right? Like he had some good throws late in the game.
Mhm,
But ultimately, the story of this game was defense. We expected a low scoring game with two new
mhm.
quarterbacks coming in. Both of these defenses are super talented. Yes, Ohio State had to reload a little bit, but they still had Caleb Downs back there
Yeah.
in the secondary. So I don't think anything in this game was too shocking for me.
No, listen, absolutely not. Um, listen, Arch can still be good. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, his first start in the horse." Like, dude, no one plays well there. No one plays well against that defense. Like, listen, I'm not a believer in Arch Manning. I don't think this guy is going to be an NFL guy, but he can still be a good college quarterback. Hell, he could even be great. Um, it's fun. Jay, we had Jeffrey the Greek on not too long ago. Quick side story. But like people jumped down CJ Stroud's throat because he wasn't playing well at Minnesota, you know? And Minnesota, with all credit due to him, is is not as good as Ohio State in the shoe.
Yeah.
So, listen, things can definitely work out for Arch, but like we've said this whole time, let's pump the brakes a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of pumping brakes, I think one program that got the brakes slammed on is Alabama with that wild. It wasn't a wild game, but it was a wild result that I think, if anybody had said this going into the season,
Mhm.
Florida State beats Alabama 31-17, and they dominated them in the trenches. I think they just like completely out physicaled them. It was, dude, it was just wild to see that. I think you look at the that game and just how it turned out, and I don't think either one of us saw that coming.
No. I said that score in Beaver Stadium because, by the way, Beaver Stadium is awful when it comes to keeping people in touch with the outside world. And people thought I was joking. They're like, no, like your app is messed up. I'm like, no, Florida State's beating them by 2 touchdowns. And then here's the other thing, Jay. You go back and watch the film like I do every Sunday morning. It was worse watching it
Yeah.
because it wasn't like, razzle dazzle, oh, here's an interception, here's this. It was Florida State just pummeling them.
It reminded me a bit of what Georgia Tech did to Florida State last year in Ireland.
Yes, it looked almost identical to that. And here's the thing with Florida State. That, like we said about Sorsby, Castellanos, 152 yards leading rusher. Was 9 for 14, 152 yards, was the leading rusher with 78. That is not going to be a winning recipe for them. And Jay, the fact that Florida State did that and won, I think is more a detriment to Alabama than it is, hey, good job, Florida State.
Yeah. The other piece of it, though, is, I mean, Florida State just looked so much better defensively.
Oh.
I will say there was a lot of eye candy stuff with Gus Malzahn coming in as the offensive coordinator. You saw some of his trademark abilities. I'm sure Alabama fans love having another loss to Gus Malzahn in the record. But
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the defensive line. Like, I think going into last season, Florida State was expected to have the best defensive line in the country. That's the type of defensive line performance that we expected from Florida State last year. They were dominant up front, and it was just a really impressive win. And now Florida State jumps right back into the rankings after last season. They needed to bounce back in a big way, and they did.
If you're a Florida State fan, you have to be completely overjoyed at that result. Like, you have to be completely overjoyed of that result. And like I said, good for Florida State, good for Mike Norvell. Hey, he's back in he is cooling off some of those flames after last year. But again, I'm worried about Alabama because it was some bad tackling. It was a blown coverage in some areas. I don't know. I'm not saying, I think it's hyperbole to say Alabama is dead, but it's not looking good.
Alabama as a playoff contender to me is done.
Oh, you think it's over right
Not
now?
like forever, but like for this year, I think Alabama as a playoff contender is just not going to happen.
I think the only thing that can help them is if Florida State runs the table in the ACC. And obviously Alabama has to win. But what I saw with Alabama, even the teams that lost, like, I think Texas is still good. I know LSU is good. But yeah, that was rough. Also, Tommy Castellanos, I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. I mean, I am, but I'm just shocked.
I didn't think it was going to be to that level.
No, like when we saw him at Boston College, he was good in spots. But
really made Mizzou sweat last year.
Yeah, he. Listen, if you talk trash, you have to back it up, and he did. But that's huge. And listen, we said before on the show, Gus Malzahn as offensive coordinator is a good hire. Anytime you get a former head coach in, as an offensive coordinator is usually a very good hire. I think that's a really good match for Florida State. I mean, it looked like it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And now you have another bona fide contender thrown into the mix in the ACC. So
Mm.
that'll be fun to keep up with. Speaking of SEC versus ACC matchups, the SEC did get one of those wins on Saturday with LSU going into the other Death Valley and claiming it as part of their own Death Valley. LSU beats Clemson 17-10. Really fun defensive game. I think I expected more out of Clemson's
Yeah.
offense
Mhm.
and perhaps less out of LSU's defense. But they've always had the guys on that side of the ball.
Mhm.
I think you found a better way to use Harold Perkins. I think he's at his best rushing the passer. I think that's how they used him. And I came away pretty impressed with what LSU did.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I was out on them a little bit this year. I think I was really high on Clemson, and
Mhm.
LSU proved me wrong.
Yeah, I think both of these teams, as they're watching the film on Sunday, were probably thinking,
You think
"Hey,
Clemson will watch the second half?
yes, yes, I do," because I think it's one of those we need to be better in spots,
Yeah,
and I think both of the, Dabo said it today, and it kind of sounded like a tall glass of coke. But he said, "Hey, it's like taking a test and they got a 68 and we got a 53 or something." Like we made more mistakes than they did. And I think there is some truth to that. But LSU's defense looked good. Um, Clemson's offense just needs to, get it together. I still think Klubnik's fine. I'm not going to sell Clemson down the river. I do think they're going to have a good year. But again, Jake, this is the difference between I still believe in Clemson.
yeah,
Like I'm like this team is still fine. They made some mistakes. It totally different than Alabama, who was getting beat in the trenches. But I really like Deuce Meyer.
yeah.
He was making checks at the line. Like I I really think, again, I hate Heisman talk, but like I think that guy right now is probably your top Heisman guy so far. And again, LSU's defense came up big, so you got to be fired up that there is only one true Death Valley right now.
Yeah, and for reference, Jake talked about the 63-58
Yeah.
grading comments. Brian Kelly did not seem that impressed. He said that Dabo didn't watch the second half film to have graded like that. But I
Oh,
agree.
I didn't even know that was that. I didn't
Oh
even know
yeah,
that Brian Kelly said that.
yeah,
Oh, okay. There you go.
yeah.
There it
Brian
is.
Kelly said, I don't know if you watched the second half where
That's a very
we
Brian
dominated
Kelly.
them."
That's a very Brian Kelly thing for him to say.
Yeah, and I think him and Dabo are actually friends. So like,
Yeah.
anyways,
Anyway.
great performance for LSU.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that Clemson lost their top receiver in that game, and I think that hurt their offense quite a bit
Mhm.
with how they had it planned up. But moving on, we got another SEC versus ACC matchup. South Carolina beats Virginia Tech 24-11. I love that Virginia Tech with their 11 got it the hard way. They got a safety
Mhm.
and I think 3 field goals is the math.
Ugh.
That's just good stuff for me.
That's real sicko stuff. Here's the deal, Jay. Virginia Tech's defense is decent. They were good. Virginia Tech is still having problems with their offense, which I think is the plague that has been surrounding Brett Pry's tenure at Virginia Tech. Is he's going to have a good defense, their offense is struggling, and yeah, it's not looking good for Pry. Here's the thing: Lenore Sellers, I thought looked really good. I thought South Carolina. I mean, listen, Virginia Tech had them scared for a little bit, but South Carolina made enough plays to win, and I think they're going to be better as the year goes on. Um, Jay, I don't know if this is true. Did you see this? Because you could see the notes. Did you see this stat?
Yeah, the first time that a South Carolina had a quarterback or that South Carolina has won in Atlanta since Ronnie Bass. Yes, that Ronnie Bass of
Who
Remember the
is
Titans.
tell them who Ronnie
Yeah,
Bass
yeah,
is.
yeah. Sunshine. You'll remember him as Sunshine in Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
So the first time South Carolina has won in the city of Atlanta since 1976, when Ronnie Bass, aka Sunshine, was quarterback for the Gamecocks.
That's incredible. I was like, there's no way that's right. There's no way.
We don't have the fact checkers here. We don't have somebody to kind of research that, but
I've
I
seen
I,
no
I
one.
did see that as well. So
What?
no. Like
No,
I
you
saw
saw.
this. I saw this stat as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
and no one disputed it. Not a single person disputed it. I'm not going to run through the numbers. I have a life to live, Jay.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to take it as fact. I'm going to take it as fact that Sunshine was the last South Carolina quarterback to win in Atlanta.
And I think Lenora Sellers has a good chance to go to the SEC championship and do it again. So we'll see.
Could be.
Moving on, Notre Dame at Miami. This was one where, again, I was pretty out on Miami. I thought that, replacing Cam Ward with Carson Beck, I don't think we were in agreement that Beck's not bad, but that Ward was just able to will his team to victory in games. Miami gets it done. They win 27-24. Massive win for that program. Notre Dame has some growing pains to go through with a new quarterback, but overall, I don't think this is a bad performance for Notre Dame. I think they can bounce back from this. I think it more just announces Miami as a playoff contender this year. The ACC could end up being pretty salty with Miami, Clemson, and now possibly Florida State thrown into that mix. I think it could be a fun conference to watch this year.
It's going to be again, as long as they don't cannibalize themselves. And Miami made it a while. They should have lost to Virginia Tech last year. They didn't. They made it towards the end. I was really impressed with Miami in the trenches. That looked like a Mario Cristobal team. Still clock management issues. That's not going away. But Miami, they're not the Miami of old, even last year, but they're finding themselves.
Yeah.
They 10-2 last year, and yeah, they're not the U of old, but they're getting there. And I think this is a great first step, especially not dominating, but kind of controlling the line of scrimmage there. Listen, Notre Dame's still good. I still think Notre Dame's a good team. I am just really surprised. There are two surprises for Notre Dame, Jay. One, where you got to be happy with CJ Carr. I thought he played a good game. He got out of some pressure. He made some decent throws. So I really liked what I saw from CJ Carr. But the other shocking part is, how are you not pounding the ball with Jeremiah Love? Or how are you not trying to get him open? Swing route, have him come out of the backfield, screen, like something. Get him going. And I feel like Jeremiah Love didn't get enough touches. They tried to in the second half, but then they were playing catch up at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they should have just schemed that up a little bit better. I think the plan for Miami just ended up being better than Notre Dame's plan. I also want to I don't remember the kid's name, but maybe already the catch of the year in week 1 for Miami.
Oh my
Did
God.
you see that?
Daniels. Oh man.
I think it's Daniels, but
it's something Daniels.
Incredible one-handed catch. If you haven't seen it already, it was SportsCenter top 10. No surprise there. Just an incredible one-handed grab for a touchdown.
CJ Daniels and Jay. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but okay. Can I say something about the catch?
You don't think it was a catch?
No. Oh no. It was CJ Daniels. Amazing. Like that, right? I can't take anything away from CJ Daniels. What he did was one of the best catches I've seen in a year or two. Here's the thing. Watch Notre Dame safety, he is afraid to hit him early and get the personal foul. And he kind of, you could see him hold up because he got there too early and it allowed him to stretch. It should have been a pick. It should have been a pick. I think if the Notre Dame guy goes for the ball, that's either nothing or he picks it off. And I think he was afraid to get the PI. I know.
Damn, you
It's
really are a downer.
I know,
Moving
I
on.
know, I know. But hey, for
uh,
CJ Daniels though, that like
yeah,
amazing. Like there's
incredible
nothing.
catch.
That was
Incredible
more
catch.
Carson. That was more. Hey, Carson Beck kind of let you hang out to dry. But
Yeah.
anyway,
One ACC team that did not have a fun experience in week one.
not a good day.
TCU absolutely thumped North Carolina and Bill Belichick. I mean, this one wasn't close. I think UNC had one good drive with Gio Lopez, and then it just kind of just fell off the cliff.
Went down the toilet, and this is why I believe that. Jay, I think with the switch of staffs, I don't think TCU knew what North Carolina was going to do. I think TCU came out probably very vanilla, just kind of base defense. Let's see what they come out in. And North Carolina marched the ball right down the field. And then once Sonny Dykes and company kind of was like, oh, okay, this is what they're going to do. Let's adjust. Yeah. It was game over. I called my buddy after that North Carolina drive, and I was like, hey, are you watching this? Like, this looks wild. And then it was all TCU and bad.
Yeah.
Like
the crazy part for me was just how much better TCU was in the trenches.
Yeah,
because Sonny Dykes is a West Texas guy, right? He's Texas Tech.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That the tree, like with Leach and all those guys, and how that has developed. TCU ran the ball at will. Like they absolutely throttled North Carolina. And I did not see that coming. Obviously, North Carolina's first year for Bill Belichick coaching in the college ranks. They had a ton of new guys in there. You have to wonder what the chemistry is like in that locker room. But this was ESPN talking about nothing but North Carolina going into this one, talking about Bill Belichick as a college coach. And I don't think Sonny Dykes and TCU took too kindly to that because they thrashed them.
Oh my God. And again, Jay, to do that in front of this massive pilgrimage to Chapel Hill,
I mean, you had Roy Williams, you had
Roy
Michael
Williams,
Jordan was there.
Randy Moss was there. Like all those guys were there, and TC again just absolutely thumped them. Who had the long touchdown run in the third quarter? Oh, Kavarian Barnes. Barnes opens that second half with a touchdown, and that is where I was like, "Oh, this is over."
It could have been worse, honestly.
Probably. I think you got to start Max Johnson.
Yeah,
against Charlotte.
I think so.
Or you got to again. You can't mess around with Charlotte either. Like I know they got beat up. I know they got beat up by App State, but like, listen, Tim Albin ain't no dummy, and Charlotte is getting better. They're friskier. North Carolina should win their next 3 games. They should. It's Charlotte, Richmond, and UCF. And I tell you what, if Scott Frost beats Bill Belichick, we have massive problems.
Yeah, because UCF did not look good against Jacksonville State.
No.
And this is Jacksonville State without Rich Rod.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know. I think you have to give Max Johnson some more reps against Charlotte. I don't know. I just think you have to.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. And speaking of Max Johnson, great to see him back out on the field after the injury that he had. I thought he looked pretty good, honestly, in his limited play time. So moving on, one of the biggest stories from Saturday, obviously, Lee Corso's final mascot pick on College Game Day. I think he's just such a massive part of both of us as college football fans. Like, getting up, watching Lee Corso make the picks every Saturday was such a big part of my personal church. I don't know if you felt the same way, but what was your thought on Lee Corso's goodbye?
I thought it was damn near perfect.
His picks were.
And his picks were perfect. We'll get to that in a little bit. So my brother had a theory, and I should have shared it on the show. And luckily, this didn't happen because it had all the pomp and circumstance happening. And Ohio State spells Corso with their band. Florida State did the same thing. My brother thought he was going to take the Buckeye head and do a not so fast, my friend, one last time and fake everybody out and put on Texas. I thought he was going to fake and then the double fake to like get a one more not so fast, but it was just a simple give me my first love. Did you see they gifted him the old Buckeye head from like the 90s?
Yeah, from like the first time he
Yeah, for the first
picked.
time he did it.
And yeah, just
But
awesome.
it's here's the thing. As a young college football fan, if I was not going to Penn State games, I was getting up early and I was watching College Game Day. I remember multiple times as a kid, Penn State is playing on College Game Day at nighttime, and I'm telling my dad, "Hey, we have to get there at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning so we can go to game day." And he's like, "The game's at 7:30." And he's like, "Yes, we got to get." Now, my dad obviously, but my mom slept in the car for the majority of the time. But like that was the pool that like yes, he put on the mascot head, and I truly believe he got a lot of people to watch college football. He was one of the greatest ambassadors of the sport. Like, I didn't like a lot of his picks. I didn't like his analysis. But guess what? He was one of the best ambassadors we've ever had for this great sport. And we get to see him right off into the sunset. He can rest because now, Jay, here's the other thing. Like you said, he went out perfect. Perfect. And on top of that, all of his teams he's ever played for or coached for won. Every single one. Florida State, Indiana, Louisville, Maryland, Navy, Northern Illinois, his first level, Ohio State. They all won.
Yeah.
They all won. And he picked Florida State to win.
Yeah. Not to put you on the spot here. Do you have a favorite Lee Corso moment?
Oh, it's cursing at Houston on live TV.
Yep.
I think that's the one. Close second, anytime he would ever hold guns or a rifle.
Yeah. With the Sooner hat on.
I think my favorite one with guns is him with Bobby Knight at Texas Tech.
There you go.
Where he had him. And like it's funny because like I remember as a kid, I just watch him with my dad, and it would be like, Texas, Oklahoma, or Texas Tech will be playing someone. And my dad will be like, he's picking so-and-so. I'm like, why? He's like, he wants to shoot off those guns more than anything. Any excuse for him to shoot but yeah, the Bobby Knight picking Texas Tech over Texas, I think that is probably my second one. But yeah, him cursing at the air and Chris Fowler yelling, "Shame on you, Shasta," and Herb Street, like, yeah, this is live to whoever they had there. Yeah, that's probably my favorite Corso moment. Awesome stuff. All right, Jay, FCS Minute.
Yeah, so we had a couple of FCS over FBS upsets in week one.
Mm-hmm.
Tarleton State, who I'm pretty confident is going to end up being FBS before too long in Conference USA. They beat Army. Really, really fun game there. Tarleton State is one of the better FCS programs in the country, and they kind of showed their mettle there. And then one that I think we were both kind of bummed about for the group of five guys and Sprouse and your over 4.5 wins pick, Austin Peay. And it wasn't close. They beat Middle Tennessee State. Tough look for Murfreesboro.
I think I'm either gonna sweat this out or I'm gonna forget about this bet about halfway through the year. This is not good. I'm disappointed in myself. Sprouse and Murphy. I believed I was on the wagon. I'm very disappointed in myself, but hey.
That's the way these things go. But we have more FCS action this week.
Is that game this week, Jay?
It is a massive game.
Wow.
Between two programs that were in the Final Four. Obviously, Montana State played North Dakota State for the FCS title last year. And North Dakota State beat South Dakota State to go to that title game. South Dakota State at Montana State. I don't know exactly what their rankings are, but both of these programs are ranked. Both of these are going to be competitors for the FCS National Championship at the end of the year. They play this week in Bozeman, Montana. Absolutely tune into that game if you get a chance, because it's two of the best teams in the FCS ranks in the country.
Yeah, listen, watch this game. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's in Bozeman. That's going to be a
Beautiful
wild.
Bozeman, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild atmosphere. Um, yeah, these are two teams that uh, are always in the mix in the Final Four for the FCS. So
And
definitely watch that.
I've talked to some of the folks that I met up in Bozeman during my Sinjay away trip last year, and they are super fired up to have this caliber of a non-conference matchup on campus where college football games should be played at this point in
Exactly.
the season.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into week 2, Jay. Friday night, James Madison at Louisville. Louisville is a 14-point favorite. And Jay, I'm thinking about taking James Madison plus the 14.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. We'll see. I just, man, James Madison, I think, is a great pick for the Sun Belt this year. I think they're going to be a really tough team. Obviously, Louisville. We're not sure what Louisville's going to look like this year yet. They're replacing their quarterback Tyler Shaw, and they have some questions there. We all saw what James Madison did to North Carolina last year, which was kind of wild. So I don't hate that pick for you. I am probably going to stay away from this game just because I don't know enough about either team yet. But definitely going to be one that you want to tune into on Friday night.
Absolutely, and I think Friday's kind of a not as good of a slate as we've had. So I think this is going to be your premier game to definitely check out. Let's look at Saturday here. Illinois at Duke. Duke is a 2.5-point dog at home. Over under set at 49.5. Jay, everyone's talking about Illinois. Everyone's talking about Illinois. I think man, it doesn't make sense to me. The line does not make sense. I thought this would be a touchdown, and I'm taking Duke plus 2.5.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this game because I was pretty surprised by that line. Like that one kind of shocked me, and I was like, what's going on there? I'll tell you what I do think, though. I think I'm going to take the under here, 49.5. I think this is going to be a low scoring defensive affair. I'm still kind of confused that this is Duke plus 2.5. Again, like I thought it would be a touchdown, maybe more. But we'll see what happens here. I'm taking the under, though.
Yeah. Next up, Baylor at SMU. SMU is a 3-point favorite. Over under set at 60.5. Jay, I am going back. Baylor plus 3, bounce back game against SMU.
SMU is not going to be near as physical as Auburn was. I actually really like Baylor. I think they took their lumps. I think it makes them better as a team. I think they bounce back. I think Trigg's going to have another big game at the tight end position with him and Sawyer Robertson gelling. I actually like Baylor in this one too.
Yeah. The Cy-Hawk Trophy.
El
Asico. As Jeffrey the Greek says, I think we are the only people that care about the Cy-Hawk Trophy. No one else does except for us. And I like the Iowa Hawkeyes to win in Ames. Listen, everyone's Iowa State won in Ireland. Iowa struggled with Albany. You know what? Struggled, yes, and the quarterback wasn't that bad. Couple terrible throws. I like Iowa. I like their defense. I'm taking Iowa to win. And it wouldn't be a Cy-Hawk matchup, El Asico, without under 44.5 as well.
Yeah, the under is the play for me here. We talk about Iowa struggling with Albany. Listen, that Iowa State win over Kansas State didn't exactly age well. With Kansas State needing a fourth quarter drive to beat North Dakota. Not North Dakota State, North Dakota, although North Dakota is still a very good Missouri Valley Football Conference program. I'm staying away from Iowa or Iowa State on the spread, but I love the under at 44.5.
Okay. Oklahoma State at Oregon. We have the Ducks are 28.5 point favorites. Oh my Lord. Over under set of 58.5. Jay, that is so many points.
It's a ton of points, but I think Oklahoma State is done.
Is it over?
I think it's over. And it's happened multiple times where we think it's over and then they bounce back. I don't think they're bouncing back this year. They beat UT Martin by 20 points. Not exactly an inspiring win for this program over an FCS team. And I think Oregon's just going to beat the brakes off of them. I like Oregon minus 28.5 in this one.
Jay, I don't know, man. Like, I know you see that and you're like, oh man, like 28.5. They have to cover that. And man, every time we say Gundy's done, he pulls out something. And I don't know. I can't get myself to take the cheese here. I can't get myself to take the cheese. 20.5. That hook, Jay.
It's the hook.
I might
shout out
it.
to Blues Traveler.
Yeah. It's the hook. Yeah, and it's gonna bring me back. I ain't telling you no lies. Oklahoma State 28.5. Taking the cheese.
Incredible. Moving on from that one, we talked about one of these programs earlier on. South Florida does not get to rest on their laurels after beating Boise State. They go to the Swamp to play Florida. Before we talk about this game, I want to talk about Florida's schedule for the rest of the year. Listen to this. So they have the South Florida team that just knocked off Boise State and who is likely a front runner for the Group of 5 playoff spot.
Correct.
Then you have at number 3 LSU, at number 5 Miami, number 7 Texas at home, at number 19 Texas A&M. You get a little bit of a break in Mississippi State. Then you have number 4 Georgia in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, at Kentucky, which winnable game.
Yep.
And then to close out the season, at Ole Miss, home against at number 20 Ole Miss, home against number 22 Tennessee, and home against number 14 Florida State.
Yeah, that's one of the roughest schedules I've ever seen. Like
now part of this is like the week 1 results with Florida State beating Bama, Miami beating Notre Dame, South Florida beating Boise. Like part of that, looking back, this may not age the same way, but that is a wild schedule to look at.
Yeah, and it's why we need a commissioner, because that's not fair to Florida. You know, like again, you know, you're gonna play your 9 games, but listen, it's not fair that Florida's doing this, and then you got some other teams in other conferences playing
in the same conference too.
In the same conference, you know, playing 8 conference games and 3 cupcakes. Yeah. No, that's not right. You know, listen, even my team, even Penn State, you know, and I know they're taking a lot of flack. Granted, they've gotten out of 3 home and homes, and they were supposed to play Virginia Tech this year. You know, COVID ruined that. So, but that's not right either. You know, you're seeing teams playing 3 cupcakes, and Florida has to play in this. Within their own conference. It's terrible. We need a commissioner. But yeah, Florida, that is a rough schedule.
They are a 17.5 point favorite against South Florida at home. 56.5. I don't know if I'm just buying into what I saw from South Florida, but I think I'm leaning them with 17.5.
I'm leaning Florida because I think South Florida is going to have a come to Jesus game. Yeah. I think they're riding high, and I think this is going to be hey, we're going to smack you in the mouth. And I think Florida's kind of also looking to punch someone in the mouth as well.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So, yeah.
Moving on, Western Kentucky at Toledo, a fun Conference USA versus MAC showdown.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel?
Points.
Yeah.
58.5. I think 58.5 is your safe bet. Leaning one way. I mean, I'm going to lead. I'm going to, you know what? I think I'm going to lean Western Kentucky. And I'm not for an analyst standpoint, but a gambling standpoint. Because here's the thing. Sam Houston is not good. And they made Sam Houston look better than they were. People are going to see that, be like, hey, Sam Houston hung around. You see what UNLV just did to him? Toledo hung around with Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky is going to be a much better team than they were in week 0. I think Western Kentucky covers. But I'm leaning, if I would say the safer bet's the over.
Yeah, I like the over as well. We've highlighted this offense. Toledo, not a bad performance against Kentucky in week 1, right? That was a close game, 16-24. It's a one-score game in that one. But I do think this is going to be a lot more points scored here. I like the over at 58.5.
And then Michigan at Oklahoma. Whoa, Oklahoma 5.5 point favorite here.
This was another one that really surprised me looking at this. What do the people in Vegas know?
Well, I think they saw an Oklahoma offense that looked very, very good last week. And then a Michigan team that didn't put away New Mexico like they'd hoped to.
By the way, love that clip of the offensive lineman running away.
Oh my
Did
God.
you see that?
It's hilarious.
Incredible moment.
Hilarious. A runaway, and I'm about to start something I can't finish. I think I'm leaning Oklahoma. I think it might be Oklahoma's time.
We'll see. I still have questions about the Oklahoma offensive line. John Mateer, very good quarterback. Going to be interesting to see what he does. We also have questions about Michigan and their quarterback situation. But I think if you'll remember, I was very low on Michigan this year when we did the Big Ten preview. I like Oklahoma in this one at home.
I like Oklahoma in this one as well. Texas State at UTSA. UTSA is a 4.5 point favorite, 66.5 over under. I'm thinking over here. Jay, you are the Texas expert. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this game just because these two schools hate each other. It's one of the better new rivalries that has come about in the state of Texas. Texas State throttled UTSA last year. UTSA is going to be out for revenge. The Alamo Dome's going to be rocking in San Antonio. Here's what I think, though. Both of these secondaries are not doing great. I like the points. I think 66.5 is going to get smashed.
Yeah, love the points. And then this is probably the premier game of the week. Kansas at Missouri. Missouri is a 6.5 point favorite. Over under set at 50.5. Jay, these two schools, not just schools, these two states really hate one another, going back to pre-Civil War, domestic terrorism / revolutionaries, depending on what side of the fence you sit. This is one of those rivalries you just love.
Yeah, it's called border war for good reason. These two programs do not like each other. I will tell you what, though. Kansas, I think, has looked pretty good to start the season. I think their win over Fresno State only looks better after what Fresno State did to Georgia Southern. I like Kansas outright. I'm taking Kansas money
Kansas on the road. I think I'm gonna take Kansas with the points. I'm gonna take Kansas plus 6.5. I do like that, though.
Yeah,
I do like that. I would stay away from over under too. I think a lot of people are gonna jump on the over, and I don't know if necessarily that's gonna hit. We might see a bit of a slugfest.
Yeah. Either way, definitely want to tune into this one because it's going to be hot tempered. We'll put it that way.
Absolutely. Bo Prabula is already, because again, he's the transfer coming into Missouri. He's kind of like, yeah, I didn't realize that this is Yeah, he's like, I just thought it was a football thing. No, like this like people really hate each other.
Yeah,
Like these two
yeah,
states. So Jay, we're gonna end it here with a more inspiring story. Larry Pickett, a Army football player, and his father save a man from a burning car that hit a telephone pole. Larry Pickett basically said, he saw the wires, very very dangerous situation, and he goes, I just had to act, and this was after their football game
yeah.
on Friday, if I'm reading the report correctly. So absolutely amazing story. You know, Larry Pickett. I mean, very unfortunate for the victim in this situation. But it's very inspiring story by Larry Pickett.
Yeah, and folks, just to serve as a reminder to be careful driving. A lot of things can go wrong on the road. But yeah, just awesome for Larry Pickett and his father to go in and save someone that could have made the situation a lot worse.
Mhm.
So very thankful they were stopping by and able to pull this man from the burning car.
Yeah, it's the stories you want to read about college football. Inspiring stories like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, Jay. Let's land the plane.
All right, folks. One full week down. Obviously, we had 0 week, but it's the first full slate of college football games. Feels like we're back into the swing of things now. Do all the things that help us grow as a podcast: like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, tell a friend about us, join Battle Bets, download the app, tell them that we sent you. And again, this should be a fantastic week of college football. We'll get you right back here at Apollo for next time. From the Get Back Coach, we'll see you.